welcome to episode 41 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate, a young but passionate knitter and crocheter. You can find all of the links to where you can find me on social media in the description box below, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a new video. I am so excited to be back with you guys on this beautiful day. It is so pretty outside. We actually just got back from church and we stayed a little bit after for a meeting, and I ended up walking outside and it was so lovely. I'm actually drinking some iced coffee today because I got a little bit hot and I don't want to take my cardigan off because it's one of my finished objects and I want to show it. So the sacrifices I make. I'm a little bit too hot, but I'm going to leave it on anyway. Fully enjoying the iced coffee though. I have not had it since the summer because usually, I want my coffee as hot as it can possibly be nowadays. But yeah, it's super good. So that's what I'm going to be drinking throughout the podcast today. If you wanted to know that, you probably didn't, but you're welcome anyway. Alrighty, I have so much to talk about today. I've had a bunch of things to talk about the past few episodes, and it's been so nice. I feel like I was kind of not in a slump, I don't think, but I was just busy with other things, I guess, and didn't have as much progress or projects to show for a few episodes there, and I don't know, I feel like these past couple have been a little bit more like jam-packed with content, and that is so much fun. Alright, so I have multiple finished objects to talk about today, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Alrighty, so I have multiple finished objects to talk about, and I also have my show notes pulled up on my computer right beside me, so if you see me looking to my right, that is what I'm looking at. I just don't want to forget anything, and the possibility is very high that I will. So I almost did last week. If you remember, I didn't show my sock that I was working on in Works in Progress. I did it in like a devotional design talk or whatever it ended up being. But yeah, I don't want to forget anything because you never know. It could be something really important, right? Alrighty, my first finished object are my commission socks. So, if you have been watching the past few episodes, you know that I have been working on these socks for way too long. Not really. I was not in a rush to finish them. The customer was not in a rush to receive them. I'm actually not entirely sure when I'm going to actually be able to get these to her, so it's a good thing she wasn't really in a rush. But anyway, I have been working on these for a couple weeks now, and I am so happy they are finally done. This yarn is so much fun to work with, and I'm going to talk about it in a second, but at the same time, after you have knit, this is now 3 socks. I've done 3 socks now with this yarn. I'll be doing one more, or like a fingerless mitt or something, eventually for a shop sample that I'm going to be doing, but, once you knit this much with a certain yarn, you kind of want to look at something else. No matter how amazing that yarn is, you just kind of want to move on after a little while. So I'm really happy that these are done. This is the Heel Toe Do-Si-Do sock pattern by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. I've talked about this pattern so much, y'all, and know I sound like a broken record. I'm really enjoying it though. Still, even after knitting multiple pairs of socks out of it. Really love it. This is Oath Yarns Unique in their Pantone Color of the Year. I mentioned the past couple episodes that I had gotten some requests to do a product review for this specific yarn because it is very unique. And I am so happy to say that I have that coming. So stay tuned for later this week because it will be launching on my channel. You'll hear all about this yarn in that video, and I'm really excited for you guys to be able to watch that and kind of gain a little bit more insight onto this yarn because it's super cool for multiple reasons. So stay tuned for that video. I did the size medium, which is the 64 stitch count. Followed the pattern basically to a T. I did an afterthought heel though instead of a heel flap and gusset, which is definitely something that I have been kind of getting more into. One of the reasons that I am doing that is I am trying to kind of come up with a format for my own sock designs. So I have a few that are kind of in the back of my head that I am working on bringing into fruition. But obviously I am not, the most, technically advanced sock knitter yet. I haven't been doing it very long. I would consider myself pretty well versed in it now, just because even though I haven't been doing it for a while, I have knit a whole bunch of socks. But at the same time, I want to kind of design sock patterns in my own unique way, and I am still figuring out how to do that. So stay tuned for those, because I know exactly which sock pattern is going to be releasing first. You're going to hear so much more about that soon, so stay tuned for that. But I'm thinking that my patterns are going to include instructions for an afterthought heel, but then instructions to substitute or how to substitute in the other heel. So that's kind of what I'm brainstorming right now. The point of me saying that is I did afterthought heels on these socks because that's what the customer wanted, and I am kind of trying to really figure out my perfect afterthought heel so that I can figure out the best way to write that in future patterns. But anyway, really happy these are done. These are my sock blockers. Oh wow, sock blockers from Knit Picks. I've shown them a million times. They're the only ones I have. I have 3 different sizes, but the only ones I have. Eventually, I really want to get some wooden ones. I've seen some gorgeous ones. I wish I could remember the Burning Impressions. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's right. They're sock blockers. I think that's the right company, but anyway, I've seen some gorgeous ones, and one day I will purchase some, but that day hasn't come quite yet, and these work so well anyway. So really happy these are finally done, and I'm super excited to give them to the recipient. I think she's gonna love them. I hope so. She, wanted them, so I assume she's gonna love them. Alrighty, my next finished object is something that I shared last week, but I don't think I actually showed it as a work in progress. I don't fully remember. Yeah, a work in progress. I don't fully remember, but I talked about how I wanted to add some length to my Osuna sweater, and that is exactly what I did this week. So I knit this sweater by Jacqueline C. Slack as a test knit last year. Went super duper well. Absolutely loved the sweater, loved everything about the pattern. The only issue that I had was I wanted it to be just a little bit longer. After finishing it and wearing it, I decided that I would feel a little bit more comfortable if it was just like a couple of inches longer. So that is exactly what I did this week. It kind of took longer than I was expecting it to. This stitch down here is what she calls half brioche, I think. And it's very similar to brioche in the sense that it kind of takes 2 rounds to complete 1 round, or like the length of 1 round, in a sense. And so it just kind of took a little bit longer than I was expecting. But it is now complete again. I added about, let's see, like 2 inches to it, about that much. And it's great now. I'm still figuring out the best way to kind of style it. I have a romper that it looks really good over, and I also think it's going to look better over a pair of jeans now. So I'm excited to try that on again and wear it soon. The only thing I will mention is I think I'm going to redo this bind off. I couldn't remember what she called for in the pattern, and I need to look back at that to see, because I'm sure she has her recommendation. I just did a normal knit bind off, and it is obviously not stretchy at all, and the stitch pattern is very stretchy, and so it's kind of like a weird balance. It fits, obviously, like, it goes over my hips, it fits perfectly fine and all that stuff, but I just think it might look a little bit better if it wasn't, if like you couldn't tell then it wasn't stretchy. I don't know, but at the same time I really like how flat it lays because of that bind off, and I don't want it to flare, so I don't know. I might do a little bit of research on that and figure out a better method. But this is now complete. Once again, I use Cascade Pacific Worsted. Don't remember the colorway, and I don't have the skein. I just have like the half cake over here. I don't have a new skein, but it's a number. I think it's like 2 or something like that. It's not actually a color name, but it's a beautiful charcoal silvery gray. The sleeves are absolutely perfect on this. They fit so well. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, really happy to have this done again. I'm really glad that I took the time to add some length. I am going to take a sip of coffee. It's so good. The only thing I will say about iced coffee is kind of like a balance that I'm still learning. I have only been drinking coffee, like since I turned 18, and which is not a coincidence, by the way. I grew up not really drinking caffeine, and then once I turned 18 and like started college and the business kind of picked up, I kind of realized that I wanted to have like a pick-me-up in the afternoon, because that is when my slump, like I wake up with a good amount of energy, and then after lunch it's like crash, and I decided that I wanted to have something to kind of look forward to and pick me up in the afternoon, and coffee was definitely that solution. But anyway, it's like if I start off with it hot and it gets cold, I don't like it and I don't want to finish it. But if it starts off cold, I don't care if it gets watered down. I don't know. You can send me all of your coffee suggestions, because I want to hear them. I want to jazz up my coffee anyway. Anyway, y'all see fit. Alrighty, so do I have another? Yeah. So my next finished object is actually my latest design, and it is the faux brioche beanie. So this is the pattern that I released last Wednesday. Y'all have loved it, and that makes me so happy. I love this beanie pattern so much, and this stitch pattern. I am honestly pretty proud of it. I think it is so easy and simple, but so cute and slouchy and squishy. It's just so much fun to make. I have a video all about this hat and this new pattern, so you can check that out on my channel. I will link it down below. I used a faux pom-pom from Knit Picks, which is just the most perfect touch, and I love it so much. This is Knit Picks Muse in the colorway Spontaneous Speckle, I believe, and it is exactly that. It's super fun, super spunky. I think it is so cute. I'm not going to put it on right now because I have like this little bun thing going on and I don't want to mess it up. But anyway, really, really love this beanie. And again, be sure to check out that video all about it, because yeah, it's a super fun pattern, and I'm really happy that it is finally out to you guys. Alright, do I have another finished object? I'm going to look at my show notes. Oh, yes, I have a finished object. Is what I am wearing. Oh man, I have multiple finished objects this week, don't I? So, this is the crochet cardigan that I was working on last week. I love this thing so much. It is exactly what I hoped for. I will admit that I was kind of all over the place in terms of actually making it, but it was also so fun to just play around and design and have fun with it and kind of come up with things that worked and things that didn't work. And it was just a lot of fun. So I'm going to stand up. You're not going to be able to see all of it because it is literally all the way down past my calf. But, oh, that was my chair against the wall. So sorry for that. But I used 3 different colors. This is Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Andy's Alpaca. And then I used 3 different colors. So this one is like rose quartz or something like that. Wait, is that right? No, this is, it looks different on the camera than it does in real life. Wow, that is confusing. This is Andy's Alpaca City Beat. And then I put a stripe of gray in between each color. And then this is like rose quartz or something like that. So they really kind of all blend together really beautifully, which I'm really happy about because that is what I was intending to do. And I'm really glad that it worked out that way. Funny story, I crocheted it. I crocheted the sleeve, and I did like 3 repeats. So I did a section of the rose, a section of the city beat, and then another section of the rose. Tried it on, and it was like way down here. And I just decided that was not going to work. So I ended up whipping that back. I'm really glad that I did. The yarn kind of stretches a little bit lengthwise, and so even though I did like row gauge and all of that jazz, it just kind of ended up being longer than I thought it was, which is totally fine. And I don't like that, and you know, it was easily to correct the sleeves. But that's just something that I will have to consider when actually writing up the pattern, if that's something that I decide to do. So I have not written up yet. I do not have plans of releasing this pattern anytime soon. Because like I said, it was kind of a mess making it. Like, you should have seen me last night finishing this thing. But I kind of came up with a bunch of fun design elements last night, being able to knit on or crochet on this. So I definitely plan on making another sample soon and writing that one up as a pattern. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. It wouldn't be exactly the same as this. This is kind of just a, you know, fun project that I designed, and it's just like a one-of-a-kind thing. And I really like that. And I think it's super fun to have a garment like that. So absolutely love this cardigan. It's exactly what I want it to be. It's cozy, it's oversized, it's warm, it's so long. I love long cardigans, and this is the longest one that I have now. Before it was my other everyday cardigans, which is a pattern by Sorella. But this one definitely wins the longest cardigan contest. So absolutely love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I'm really looking forward to making another one or making something similar to it. We'll have to see what that entails, but really love it. And I paired it with a pair of jeans, which are skinny jeans, and I'm sure y'all have all heard. I have seen like so many people say this week of like how skinny jeans and side parts are out of style or whatever. If y'all have not noticed, I am not one that is like on the latest trends. I have this like running inside joke with myself that I catch on trends when they go on clearance. Because it's true. Even though it sounds terrible, it's true. So my hair does not do a middle part. Like it just does not work. I have, like, as you can see, I have two crazy cowlicks, one on each side, that are never going to go anywhere despite how much I would like them to. So middle parts will not be happening, and skinny jeans are the only jeans that fit me, period. Also the only jeans that look good on me. So yeah, I'm just going to stick to what I like and ignore the latest trends, because that's what I'm going to do. And you know, we're talking to the 18-year-old who has a business designing knit and crochet patterns. So, you know, I can't say too much. Alrighty. Anyway, so I think that is all for finished objects. If my computer will function, I will actually be able to scroll, but apparently it's not going to. I think that is all for finished objects though. So let's go ahead and talk about some multiple works in progress. So, for works in progress, I'm going to talk about them in just a second, but I actually did forget to talk about another finished object. So, yet another week of me forgetting to talk about something. Good grief. But I'm not surprised I missed this one because it was buried underneath a bag. But I recently updated my single arrow cowl pattern last week, and I made myself another sample of it. Absolutely love this version. Again, I used Knit Picks Muse, which is one of my absolute favorites. And this is the color Possibility hand painted, I believe. And this is what it looks like on. I am like really warm now. I have a cowl and a cardigan. But anyway, just a really simple cowl pattern. I know y'all really loved it when I did it for free last Friday. And it was just so much fun to make this sample. And I'm going to really enjoy wearing it. So, after all of that, I forgot a finished object. But anyway, now we can talk about some works in progress, of which I have a few. So the first work in progress that I'm going to talk about is something super special that I love so stinking much. I cannot even contain my excitement. So I am testing a pattern for Emma of Bloom Create. If you are not following her on Instagram, you totally need to. Her feed and like her persona are just so inspiring. I love following her and seeing what she creates. But I am testing her latest sock pattern, which is the Mountain Mama DK socks. So she has this pattern in a female weight version in her Ravelry shop. And now she has designed a DK weight version. So this is the first sock all finished, and I loved it. I love it so much. I did a mohair and fingering combination for the contrasting color, and then for the main color, I held two strands of fingering weight together, and I love how it feels. I love how it looks. I used Knit Picks Stroll in the colorway Quirk for my main color, and that is this brown, and that's what I held two strands of. And then again for my contrasting color, I did a strand of Knit Picks Twill fingering in Rosewater Heather, And then I actually held a string of a loft as well. And I don't remember the colorway name. I meant to look that up and I completely forgot. But I think it might be like silver or white or something like that. But it's definitely like a grayish, silvery white. I mean, it's exactly what it says it is. But really, really love this sock. It has a garter heel flap, which is just so fun. The only thing I am going to have to do, I might rip back the toe and add a little bit more length to the foot because I misread the pattern a little bit. I am used to patterns saying leave 2 inches for the toe, which is what I did. And it turns out that she actually wanted you to leave a little bit less than that. And so I needed to knit a little bit more, like stockinette for the foot. So I am going to rip back and make that change, but it's not going to take long. Not a big deal at all. And it totally, it does not affect the pattern. There was no errors in the pattern. It's not out yet. It's in the testing process, which is why I'm testing it. So it would be okay if there are errors, because that's what this season is for. But anyway, I just need to make that change so that it fits my foot a little bit better, because I noticed that the, as you can kind of tell on the sock blocker, the heel flap is pulling just a little bit. It's not too tight on the blocker, but it's just a little bit too tight on my foot. So I'm going to make that change later this week and get that all finished. But absolutely love this sock. It was just an absolute dream to make. And I'll be posting more about it on Instagram soon, so stay tuned for that. It's just such a dreamy pattern, and I love it so much. And I'm really looking forward to knitting the second one. Alrighty, so that is my first work in progress. And I haven't started the second one yet, by the way. I just haven't done it yet. I will very soon, though. Anyway, so that is my first work in progress. My second one is actually another sock. So I'm going to switch it out on the blocker here. And I also have not started the second one on this. I know, that's crazy. But look at this sock. Isn't it so cute? Oh, man. Okay, so I have started another pair of, I almost said, no, what is the pattern called? It is Sporty Shorty Socks. That's what it's called. That's what I wanted to call it. And then for some reason I didn't think that was the right name. But this is a pattern that I recently did as a test knit for Claire of Perfectly Knotted. And this is her Sporty Shorty sock pattern. So my other pair of these, I used 2 colors, which is how the pattern is designed. And I did it striped, which is, again, how the pattern is designed to be. However, ever since I knit that first pair, I wanted to knit a second one with a solid color. And so that is exactly what I have done. I knit the majority of this sock on Friday, actually. It went by so quick. And I know you can't tell super well in this pattern, but it does have that gorgeous arch support detail, heel flapping gusset, and then the toe, of course, and the 1x1 cuff, and of course, it's an ankle sock. So really, really love this. I use Knit Picks Completa Superwash for the very first time. Absolutely loved it. I'm not 100% sure about this colorway name, and I don't think, yeah, I haven't put the yarn back yet, but I don't know where I put it. I'm going to have to find that. But anyway, I think it might be the colorway Magnolia Heather. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it is very, very close to the Big O, Knit Picks Big O Magnolia Heather, and I think they might have used that same colorway name. So don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure, but I do really, really love this color. And I don't have a pair of socks in it yet, so I knew that I wanted to add it to my collection. And these are just so fun. I wore my Sporty Shorty socks for the first time last week and could not take them off. They were so cozy. I'll have to talk more about last week's weather in a second, but I lived in knitted socks, and the Sporty Shorty ones and the Tale of 3 Brothers socks from Julie of Twin Stitches Design got all of the love because they're just so cozy. So cozy. So that is my second work in progress. Let's see, what else am I working on? Again, look at show notes because I really don't want to forget anything this time. Okay, my next work in progress is my February socks. If I can find that project bag. Let's see, here it is. So, I shared the completed sock last week. I have one done. So, this is my second month of 2021 box of socks. I am knitting a pair of socks by a different designer using a different yarn every month this year. Just a specific pair of socks that I can call my February socks or my March socks. Obviously, it's not the only socks that I am knitting, as you have seen from what I have showed so far this episode. But it's just kind of something fun that I decided to do, and I am absolutely loving it. So, this is the first finished sock. I love it so much. These are the Expelliarmus socks by Julie of Twin Stitches Designs. And they are just so fun. I am loving this pattern. I have started the second one, and I am done with the leg. I knit this whole entire leg minus the cuff and 2 rounds. So like I did that much beforehand. I knit the whole rest of this while we started a movie yesterday afternoon. And it was so much fun. It was like a great way to enjoy a movie but still be productive, which is something that I love doing. And I could not believe how fast this went by. And I think I know why. So the way this pattern works is you have, it's kind of 2 different patterns in one, in the sense that the cable is on the outside of your leg. And so on this sock, the cable is on the right side because it's the right, so if I was going to wear the sock, the cable would be on this side of my foot. Whereas when I wear this sock, the cable is going to be on the left side of my foot. And because of that, it's kind of 2 different patterns and 2 different charts that you follow for each size. So for the right foot, you start off the row by purling 2. And that basically just means that if you're knitting magic loop, you purl the first 2 stitches of that first needle. And for some reason, purling those stitches is so uncomfortable for me. I get like a weird gap, like it's just not enjoyable. And the way this sock works is you pull the last 2 stitches, which totally doesn't bother me. So I think just that little change and that I knew what to expect going into this sock made it absolutely fly by. And it was so much fun to knit. I had a blast. So I am using Knit Picks Stroll Tonal in the color Seashell is the pink. And then this gray on the heel is just Stroll in Ash. So really loving these. I'm knitting the size small, of course. Same size I did for all my socks. And I love them. I will have this one done this week because, can you believe it, we're in the last week of February. Guys, I really need time to just, like, stop. It's going, what feels like 100 miles an hour, and I'm going 50. Not really, but, oh man, I just need twice the amount of time that I have for, like, everything in life right now. That would be fabulous. Twice the amount of time before my next birthday, twice the amount of time before my next assignment is due. Like, it'd just be great for time to just halt. Anyway, really loving this sock and this pattern. It's just been a lot of fun. Sock knitting, I'm hooked. I am hooked for life, and there is no going back. I know there's not, and I am not mad about that. I love it so much. Alrighty, I'm going to put that pattern. I lost this pattern earlier this week, and I could not find it. It was right where I put it, which, makes sense. But, it's going to go right back in the bag, so I don't lose it again. Okay, my next work in progress is my sweater. So, if you've been watching for the past few weeks, again, you will know that I kind of dubbed this the name the February sweater because I had the ridiculous and loose goal of making a sweater a month. Now, in theory, that has kind of happened because I finished a sweater last month. It was my weekender sweater. I didn't start and finish that, but I did finish it. And I did knit a good bit on it, so I knit both sleeves, so it does count. And then this month, I have crocheted this entire sweater. So I technically have upheld that goal. It's just not what I intended to do. This sweater is my Like a Cloud sweater. 100% definitely not going to be done in February. Like, nowhere near close. And that's totally okay. I'm still loving it. It's definitely going to get done eventually. It's just not done quite yet. And that is totally okay. I don't think I'm going to get a whole bunch of progress done on it this week, honestly. Because my brother's birthday is March 3rd, which is super close, obviously. It sneaks up on me every year because it's not so close to after Christmas, but it feels like it's so close. I don't know. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But it's coming up. I know exactly what I'm going to make him. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't think he watches this, but I don't want to risk it. But that's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take, like that's going to be my main focus this week. But anyway, I did make a little bit of progress on this. I only worked on it yesterday, so there's that honesty right there. But I did all of this yesterday. Look at that. Isn't it so beautiful? I love this thing so much. I know that I'm not going to finish it in time to really wear it this year, but that's okay. I do have another new cardigan, so I'm content. I'm happy. But I love this so much. Oh man, can you sense, I have a favorite color? Yeah, totally do. I love this thing so much. This is a Like a Cloud cardigan by Hoey Locatelli. I'm using Snow yarn in their mohair and suck bases. This is the colorway Knitflix, and this is, I forget the name of this yarn every single time. I think On the Trail, In the Trail, something trail. I seriously forget it every single time. Yeah, I really don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's On the Trail or something. Either way, these are from the Cozy Collection that they released last year. And I love the combo so much. It's definitely unique. Not exactly what Hoey intended for this design to be. But it's my own little spin. And I love it so much. And I'm fully enjoying this project. It felt so good to work on it last night. And yeah. It was a blast. It was a blast. I'm looking forward to working on it some more, of course. Definitely slower going than I originally anticipated that it would be. But it's also a really lightweight yarn. It's not what I'm used to knitting for sweaters. So that definitely explains why I haven't gotten as much progress on it. And I haven't worked on it in time. I've been working on 1,000,001 other things. But I am really eager to get that done soon. I think I'm going to have that back section done soon because it only has to be 6 inches. And it's probably about 5.5 now. I guess I could measure it. I mean, that would solve that problem, wouldn't it? It almost doubled in size yesterday, which is crazy. I mean, I worked on it for a good amount of time. It was probably an hour. But still. Let's see. It is right at 5 inches. So, I have about 1.25 inches more to go. And then I'll move on to the next section of the pattern. And yeah. Slow going, but beautiful and enjoyable nonetheless. And that is the most important thing. So, that is that work in progress. Am I working on anything else? I don't think so. I think that is it for works in progress today. I'm actually going to skip right on to devotion because I did plan on starting a new design this morning, but I didn't end up having time to. And everything else that I am working on for designs is completely secret. Completely. I got a few things started this week, which was so much fun. But they are completely secret right now, so I'm not going to talk about them. But we are going to have a little bitty devotional, so let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so last week for devotion, I talked about a song that I have been listening to recently, which was Be in the Moment by Jeremy Camp. And I had so much fun talking about that with you guys, and I know a lot of you appreciated it, and you mentioned a couple of other songs that you really liked, which was so fun. And so this week I kind of wanted to do the same thing for another song that I love, and that is Waymaker by Leland. So this is a song that my church worship team started singing a while ago, and ever since then I have loved it. Every single lyric in this song holds such power so gracefully. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. And so powerful. I love it so much. So one of the lyrics towards the end of the song says, even when I don't feel it, you're working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. You never stop working. And that is just something that has showed its truth so many times over my life, but especially the past few months, with graduating high school and starting college and getting through my first semester and, all of the challenges that COVID has brought and, all of those different things, designing, business, trusting him, all of it has been challenging in and of itself. And there have definitely been times where I have questioned whether or not he is working, or whether he is, whether he does want to see me through this or see me succeed at this certain thing. And I just want to remind you that he has not left us. He has not neglected us. He has not even moved on. He is there and ready and waiting with open arms, just like he was yesterday, just like he is today, and just like he will be tomorrow, and just like he always, always, always will be. Because he is a God that no matter how much we change, he never will. And he is always, always there. So I encourage you that, no matter if you feel him working or not, or if you want to see this thing happen that just hasn't happened yet, I encourage you to trust and know that he is working. Because he works in the most powerful and mighty ways, but honestly some of the most invisible ones too. And sometimes we have to really, really be looking and having those eyes of faith to really see how he's working, because it can be really hard to see. So I just want to encourage you with that today, and I encourage you to listen to that song, because again, it is so good. I love listening to it. You're not going to want to sit still, I can guarantee that. I encourage you to just play it in your car. I love playing worship music in the car when I'm driving. Of course, be careful, pay attention to the road, because that is super important for you and everyone else on the road. But that time in the quiet is just one of my favorite times of the entire week, to just be in the peace and with God and nobody else in the car. It's so nice. I'll admit that it was raining earlier this week, and I did not do that because I had to focus really hard. But in the long run, I absolutely love doing that. So I encourage you to just listen to that song this week and kind of gain insight to its lyrics and its power and how true those things really are. So I'll take that one into a life update. It has been a crazy weather week. I think we can all relate to that. If you are in Texas, you are in my thoughts. I hope that you are okay and that you are safe and the power is back on and, life is getting back to normal. In the South, it's a lot different than the North, right? If you live in the North, if you are in Northern, snow is not as surprising or as big of a deal, because y'all have the equipment for it. We're prepared for it just like you should be. And, that's obviously absolutely amazing. But here in the South, it's such a big deal because we don't have that equipment, and the biggest thing that I have seen and the issue with Texas is all of the power is above ground, because they're not expected to get so much weight in snow on the power lines and such. And that's why the power has been such a big deal. And so that has definitely been a big situation this week. Me, myself, where I live in northeast Alabama, and we were right outside of the lines. This storm was coming, this winter storm was coming from the west, and we're here, and the line to where it's gonna affect people is right here. So we were way just barely out of it, which was totally fine. It's not something that we were really thankful for or excited about. It didn't really matter. My family personally loves snow because we don't get it much, so it's always super exciting. But at the same time, obviously, ice is a big deal, and so we didn't really want that. Anyway, so we actually did end up getting a little bit of snow, which was so fun. It didn't stick. Sorry, not my wing now. It didn't stick, which isn't very surprising. It was really cold. There was one day when it was, let's see, so I had class on Monday, and it was really cold that day, and it rained, but it didn't actually snow or sleet or anything like that. And then right as I pulled back into my driveway on Monday, I got a call that classes were closed on Tuesday due to inclement weather, which was actually really nice, only because I, plan to be gone on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's my day that I have class and other things. And so it was really nice to have an extra day at home. We never lost power either. So it was just, I was able to get a ton done on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that was so nice and so important for me personally. It felt so good to get those things done. But anyway, so Tuesday it did not get above freezing, which is pretty crazy for down here. And then it didn't get above freezing until like sometime over the course of Wednesday, which is crazy. So, and then Thursday was still cold, but pretty much back to normal for my area. I had class as usual. I had a really long babysitting gig that afternoon. And then yeah, that's about it. I have some family in Florence, Alabama, if you're familiar. It's on the like west. Wait, what am I saying? Yeah, northwest. Very, very northwest corner. And they got a bunch of snow. And it's crazy to see it because we're just not used to it down here. So I know they had a lot of fun playing in that. And we were sent a bunch of pictures. We were kind of jealous because we wanted the snow. But regardless of that, whether you're grateful for the snow or not, I hope that you are safe and warm and well. And that if you had a crazy week last week because of weather, I hope that your week this week has been kind of back to normal and a good one. And yeah, so with that, I hope that you have enjoyed episode 41. I can't believe these numbers just keep getting higher and higher, don't they? It's crazy. I can't believe I've been doing it for this long already. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay tuned for some super exciting content things coming later on. I'm really excited about all of them. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.